Hi, this is Toby from Integral Meditation Asia, just enjoying a little bit of the English springtime weather. I want to talk today a little bit about the practice of mindful self-leadership. I'll be doing a couple of courses on mindful self-leadership in the upcoming months, and I just want to provide you with an image that I hope will give you some idea and inspiration about what mindful self-leadership is and what it can do for you. So, mindful self-leadership is really about developing your capacity to lead yourself beyond your current limitations towards the goals and aspirations that you really have and hold most deeply in your life. And what I want to do is just to give you an image, just to give you a sense of what practicing mindful self-leadership might give you. So, one of Tibet's greatest spiritual practitioners was a guy called Milarepa, and he was revered by Tibetans down the centuries because he managed to achieve enlightenment in one life. And not only did he manage to achieve enlightenment in one life, but he also managed to do it after having essentially spent the first part of his life being a bit of a rascal, kind of doing a fair amount of killing, stealing, and generally being a vagabond. So he screwed up the first half of his life, and yet still managed to achieve enlightenment. So if a guy like Milarepa can do it, well, hey man, I can do it. So Milarepa had a teacher called Marpa, and whereas Milarepa spent a lot of his time in the latter half of his life being an ascetic, going off into mountain caves and doing retreats and achieving his enlightenment that way, Marpa was different. Marpa essentially remained as an ordinary layperson. He was a farmer, he had a wife, he had several children, and he led a busy life. And along with all the kind of stresses and strains that come with family, that come with running a business, his farm, and he achieved his enlightenment essentially just within the context of living a very ordinary life. So Milarepa was once asked by one of his disciples, why didn't you follow the example of your teacher Marpa, who stayed in the midst of ordinary life, had a family, had a wife and so forth, and achieved his enlightenment that way? Why didn't you do that? So Milarepa looked at his disciple and said, well, if a jackal tries to leap where a tiger goes, he's only going to break his neck. So basically what he was saying there is that, well, Marpa was a teacher was a person of very substantial natural spiritual capacity, and he was able to achieve enlightenment in a way that if I tried to copy that, I'd just break my neck. I'd be like a jackal trying to leap where a tiger goes. Okay, so it would just be foolish of me to try and copy that. What I need to do is stay within my limitations and work within, recognizing those limitations, work within them. So, actually, the reality for most of us, for you and I, is that our situation is somewhat like Marpa, in the sense that we have a career, we have a business to run, we have a family, we have a relationship and children and parents and all sorts of things in our life that we are very busy trying to deal with, and that are taking up a substantial amount of our time and energy. And we're looking at some of our bigger goals and dreams, whether they be dreams around our career or around our relationships, or dreams based around our kind of spiritual aspirations for living a more awakened life. And we're thinking, well, hey man, that's all very well, but if I'm looking at my life, I look at the amount of energy I'm having to spend just staying afloat, the amount of stress I'm dealing with, it's unrealistic for me to go for these bigger goals, these bigger dreams that I have. So what I better do is just stay within my limitations and not try and make too big a leap, because I'm just going to cause myself harm. So the practice of mindful self-leadership is about learning a set of very practical, very doable processes and techniques that you can integrate into your life without a huge time commitment, that enable you to start to move towards bigger goals, bigger aspirations in your life, and start to lead yourself towards those aspirations in a step-by-step doable way, without kind of feeling like you're going to break your neck, so to speak, without feeling like you're making a leap where there's no safety net, and that you're just going to do yourself damage, or there's just too much fear within you to take on those goals realistically. It's like, I can't do that. You know, if I do this, I'm going to be disapproved of by so many people, or it's going to create so much more stress in my life, or I just can't do this. I've just got to stay limited. So mindful self-leadership is about, okay, how can I move myself towards the goals that I really want to go for, that I really, in my heart of hearts, I feel like I'd like to take on, but do so in a way that is relatively controlled, relatively sustainable, where I'm going to be able to take that leap without feeling like I'm putting myself in imminent danger. So this is what mindful self-leadership is about. And if you kind of think about this idea of your real goals being like that leap, that if you were a tiger you could make it, but here you are sitting there as a jackal and thinking, well, I can't do that. I'll do this hop here, and hope that I don't create too much damage and movement in my life such that I'll feel like it's out of control. So how can I? Mindful self-leadership is actually sitting there looking at that big goal and thinking, I can do that, and not only do I think I can do that, I've got the tools where I can actually take myself towards that goal step by step. So that's really a little bit about what mindful self-leadership is about, using the image of the leaping tiger. So do check out the details of the courses that I'm going to be offering at Integral Meditation Asia on mindful self-leadership. The full details are on the Integral Meditation Asia website. Thank you for taking the time to watch and listen, and I hope you enjoyed the talk. Cheers.